Hello friends and welcome back. In today's video, we are going to discuss about the various commands which we'll use to manage the Docker images. If you remember the last video, we discussed about the structure of the image. But as of now, we know the structure. We can play with the various commands. We will perform various functions like pulling an image, running an image. We also remove and even delete the image. Or if you want, we can also try to push an image to the Docker Hub. So without wasting much time, let's move forward. The very first point, which I think you should be knowing, is the Docker Hub. You should go to this link, create an account for yourself, and then get started. Now we are on the Docker Hub page. If you don't have an account, please press the sign up and create an account for yourself. But if you have, like I have, just put your credentials and start moving. So now your Docker Hub view may be different than mine because I have few images which I downloaded, edited, or just modified and pushed back to the Docker Hub. If you don't have any images, no need to dishearten, just use the search box and search the image of your choice. Or you can also use an explore button and it would explore you through the image repository. So maybe I want to start with the MySQL image. So there are various image lists that would appear in front of me. Now it's my choice what I want to select, apply these filters. They're very useful. So I'll go for the images. Then it's my choice whether I want to go with the verified publisher, where there are few, or if you want to go with the Docker official image. These are usually the image which an image vendor would compile and provide to Docker for the official usage. Now you can also select the operating system on which you want these images to be compatible with. So I've selected the Linux, and then the obvious hardware architecture on which it would be compatible. So I'm selecting the 64-bit and see what all versions I got. So I got these few images. Let's go with the MySQL official one. And you will find the command which you can copy and paste simply using this button. And you can just go to your Docker client or the Docker machine where the Docker engine is running and paste this command. And it will not ask for any credentials because this repository, or you can say Docker Hub, is a public repository. You can pause this video, and if you want, you can spend some more time on the Docker Hub page and start exploring the other options. So for the next step, I would say we have to understand the various options provided by Docker image. So there's a complete page written by Docker. So if you read the official Docker documentation, you will find a lot of options that you can use with this command. Due to some time constraints, we're not able to test each and every one, but we would try to work and provide you the display of almost the ones which can help you in easing your work. So now the very basic command to start with is Docker image, and it would print you a help page that what all options is provided with that command. So let's first start with a basic command to list what all images are downloaded to my system. So I can see only one BusyBox image is there on my system. Now, first try pulling a basic image or just run a container out of that. So this is our old command, which we ran previously as well. And it's not going to do much, but just pull the image and run a container out of that. So firstly, it would first try to download, find the image to your system. And if the image is not found locally, which in our case is already available, so it will run a container out of that. Now, if we again run our same command, you will find that that image is also visible to in the database. Now, this is the one thing. You may not want to run a container every time out of that. So next command for your mate would be docker pull and something like your image name. So this step may take some time depending on how many file system layers it has, what is your internet speed, from where you are trying to pull the image. Is it a Docker Hub repository or it's a private repository? So depending, it will take that much time and download the image to your system. That was pretty quick. So you may notice that the MySQL with the latest tag of image is downloaded to the system. Now just again run those commands to see, and you can find that image. So that is one way of pulling the image. Now, we are all pulling the image, but we should be clear exactly on which path system these images are being downloaded. So you just var lib docker, and then you have to find your images and device mapper, and there you will find some DB files. So an image DB and a content and the SHA ID of your images. So now it will display you the different SHA IDs. So if you run the docker image ls command again, you will notice that the SHA ID is nothing but the elongated version of your images. For example, the MySQL one, which is pointing to this image. So this is a place where all those images are downloaded to your system. Now we see that as well. Now scroll a bit about searching an image. So for that, Docker provides you a field like Docker search and put your image name. For example, I want to search like CentOS image. So it will bring me the output of all the CentOS image or all the images having the word CentOS in that and display on my screen. Now, you may or may not be interested in all those images. So there's a filter option also provided by that. So just provide a default filter which you want to use. You can refer the Docker Hub documentation or Docker official documentation to see what all options are there. So we have picked a couple of them for you. So this one, for example, will only pick the images which are official. So this is to its official image and it picked for you. Now again, you can put something like the filter option with the stars. So not all image have good stars. It all depends on the downloads or the contribution of that image. So let's put an image naming CentOS only, which have stars more or more than 100. So you may find now two images. One is the system D one and the normal one. Now, obviously, this is the official one, and this is not the official one. So, but the criteria this time is not the searching the official one, but from the stars. So it picks the relevant result for you. So in this way, you can also filter the results or search a required image for yourself. Now, again, we were running that command and it's providing a lot of outputs. You may or may not be interested at some point only in the image IDs, maybe for any workflow on a script. So -q is a pretty good option. It coids everything and only print you the image ID. So that is just like summarizing or compressing the thing. Now you want to expand your image and see what all is inside that. So Docker provide you a command like docker image inspect and then your image ID or image name. So let's select this one. I don't know what image this is. So depending on the output, we'll get the more informations. So this is the complete elongated SHA ID, which expanded SHA ID, which is there. Now this is pointing to the hello world image with the latest tag. It also had some repo digest number. Then if any other values required are there, for example, which container it would create or what values the container would run with, what environment path your container would run with, what commands is actually executed, and obviously several other things are there in this format. You can also see architecture and other stuff and how many layers it's being made of. That's pretty interesting to see. For example, let's pick some other image and see if we can find other file system layers as well over there. So you can notice that this is probably the MySQL one. Obviously, it's the MySQL one, and it contains of now that many layers. It's not a single layer image. So that is something how you can inspect your image. Now, again, inspecting is not very comfortable in this view. You may want pretty formatted output or in a good way. So an option is provided with that is format, and you can simply put what all you want to put. So for example, if I want to only check the container config, I'll put an option like this, and it would provide me the all container config. Now, not every container config I am interested with. Maybe I only want to see the command which is being deployed. So it would display you the command that is being executed when the image is deployed. So that is something worth noticing. So till now we are discussing about just using an image and displaying more information about that or pulling an image. Now let's see if we have to, how we can delete an image. So we can either see from the Docker image ls, or you can also see from here what all containers are there which are using an image. So now we can use, for example, Docker image rm and the image name. But you may not find that image because maybe that's already cleared. So that may be an example of a dangling image. So before that, before discussing that, let's see how we can clean an image. Again, to Docker image ls. Now let me try to remove that hello world image. There's something interesting you want to see. Now you will notice that message because that image is somewhere connected to one of the containers. So the best practice is first stop the container, delete the container, and then only remove the image. This point we already discussed in the previous videos as well. But since we know that this container is in nowhere used, we can simply use a force option and it would untag my image. So if you see again, you will not find that image. So in this way, you can also clean those images. Now, the beautiful option is prune. Why I mentioned this? Because sometimes image is lying dangling in the system. So how you can clean them? They're not being used, not even can you can use them. They are somewhere holded by the dead containers or somewhere. So a good option is Docker image prune, and it should be run on an occasional basis or on a frequent basis. So as of now, there's no dangling image. There's one other option with prune is that if you put a -a, now that will remove all the images without at least one container. So that means whatever image which do not have any container, that would be deleted. So you can notice that a MySQL image is there, no container is connected to that. So it removed that image, pruned that image simply, and it saved now 524 MBs from your system. So now if you do a Docker image ls, you will not find that image either. Why the busy box is not deleted? Because somewhere it has some sort of container connected. Um, there's no harm in checking that as well. So you may notice that this container is now holding that. I would say it is a better way to remove the images which do not have any containers connected to them. Now that was something which we played for some time. Now I again have to pull my, let me quickly pull one image just to show our next step, because busybox do not have much steps in that. So I'm just pausing this video and returning back when this image is being downloaded fully. Now the image is downloaded. So it's worth to see what all commands are there that would be used to create different layers, or the history of whatever they're in the different layers. So just put the image name with the Docker image history command, and it will show you what all layers were added. So these all layers form the different other file system layers of the image. Now that is where we have done all the steps. Now the final step would be you have an image, you played with that image, and now you want to upload to a system. So the first thing you have to do is to Docker login. You connect to the Docker API, and I would try to find my authenticated credentials, and it's login is successful. It's being cached in my config.json. So now the very first procedure is you have to tag your image. Now the image name is busybox, for example, and I would put a name like demo. My bad, this is the image name, and then here obviously the tag name. So the tag name should be the name of the repository, then the name of the image, and then the demo stuff. So now the image is being tagged. If you see the Docker image ls, you will notice that this image is being created for you. Now, in order to push in the Docker Hub or in the repository, you just have to put a Docker push, the complete image path, and the tag name. So this step may take few seconds, 2 minutes, depending again on your internet speed and the repository which you are using. Maybe the speed to your local repository would be quick. So now we are in our Docker Hub page. Let's quickly refresh the browser and see if the new image is visible to us. So this is the new image. Now just click that image and you will notice that this image is last pushed a few seconds ago. Now, if you want to download that image to another Docker system, just use a command from there on that Docker system, and your custom image would be just like imported to that system or pulled to that system. So that is how you can somewhere play with the images. Obviously, it does not contain everything, but if you practice them and test them, these options would cover most of the things for you. So I hope this would be helpful for you. Please do let me know with your feedbacks, and thank you and have a nice day.